All right. Hey, Saturday, D&D. Uh, elves. We're in Valinor, and the party is trying to find an ancient, supposedly miraculously powerful cleric of the deity Eldath.
Phenomenal cosmic powers.
Indeed. Um, all in the name of bringing back their dead friend Togar. So they stop by the temple to find out that this Father Kios disappeared, like 100+ years ago, and no one has been able to really find any trace of evidence as to what might have happened to him. Last they knew, he was in his quarters, either praying or sleeping, and, well, he just vanished. So, that being the case, and very importantly, you guys having some high quality pepper products in your possession and soon to be in your possession.
Zach,
What are we doing now?
pepper did we receive?
I feel like it was like 5 bottles of.
Oh, it was 1 bottle of kosher oil, and then
Oh, okay,
some wolf
okay.
pepper powder and a wolf pepper.
There you go.
I
That's
checked my items.
There you go.
It's almost like it's what it's there for.
Weird. Okay. But yeah, so that's the thing. You have lots of spicy pepper stuff. And yeah, I know the next day there's something that Tormilla wants to do, but is there anything beforehand?
I don't have anything.
I think at some point during the night, I will have cast this on Bungdo.
Just while he's sleeping, maybe he's a loud snorer.
Yeah, as I walk by, I'll just cast it on his room.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Silence. Illusion 2.
So yeah, I mean, then you guys get a long rest in and recover hit points and hit dice and spells and all that good stuff. And so the next day rolls around as you awaken in your rooms in the Morning Glory Inn. And yeah, what's the plan?
Am I
going
still
to
silenced?
No, it lasts 10 minutes.
Good.
I'm going to come down late.
I'm gonna come down early and get breakfast.
I'm gonna come down in the middle.
Okay. And so you all come down at various times.
Well, I'm going to come down late because I'm casting that in my room.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're kind of sequestering yourself to make this happen. Gotcha.
Yes. And the night before, I would have, prayed for information, and in doing so cast the spell.
Okay. So, what you get from that spell is that. In the meantime, Bungdo and Maya are, I don't know, probably eating breakfast and just, I would assume, waiting for Tormilla, right? It's not like you want to depart with only 2 people. Is there anything in particular that you guys are doing while Tormilla is locked away?
I mean, I just want to get breakfast at the inn.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you guys do that. Kind of more or less have a slowish morning. until when Tormilla is done with the thing that she wanted to do. Yeah.
So I'll come down with a piece of paper in my hand, and on it you will see written that. And I'm just gonna hand it to Maya, and I'm gonna say, I asked for guidance from Moradin last night, and this is what he gave me.
What's it say?
I pasted it in
There we
chat.
go.
Cryptic. Does Bungo see this? Or have you not?
Yeah, well, I would assume Maya would show it to you as well. But I did give it to Maya first.
What is the land of his ancestors?
I don't know.
Maybe we can go back to the temple and ask.
Yeah, maybe we can. That might be better idea. So. Okay. I guess we should then.
All right. So, yeah, allowing time to finish breakfast and whatever else, you head back a few blocks over to the Temple of Eldath, where, yeah, you see probably like the conclusion of an early service kind of thing, just a sermon or what have you. So there are maybe a few scattered crowds of people around the main chamber of the temple as many more of them kind of filter out around the time you arrive. And yeah, I think you head in, and I assume you're probably looking for somebody that you've already spoken to, perhaps Sewer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, Sewer's around, and yeah, she is again, much like a lot of the clergy you see around. It's kind of like some lingering conversation and just catching up with members of the flock, so to speak. But seeing the three of you arrive, she kind of politely excuses herself from conversation and makes her way over to you as quickly as she can. And she says, greetings. Have you learned anything?
I think so. Was he by any chance from somewhere other than the forests around here?
I don't believe so. He was a full-blooded elf. So while I can't say I was intimately familiar with his family, these woods are home to all but a few rogues and travelers of our race.
Did his lineage run far back?
I don't know the specifics, but as I said, as far as I know, he was an elf through and through, and we certainly take pride in our heritage. I'm not entirely sure I understand where this line of questioning is going.
I'll hand her the piece of paper at this point.
Okay. So yeah, she looks it over and says, Land of his ancestors. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what that could mean. These woods have been home to the elves since, well, before the times of written history.
Are there any possibly older elves that might know? Any elders?
Are there, yeah, and any elves that, keep the tales before written time?
She kind of thinks on that, and she says, well, I suppose you could consult with some of the more scholarly folk stationed in the tree. There's quite an expansive library there that is curated by some of the finest scholars that Balinor has to offer. They this is one of the places that your what are they called? And she really has to think on it. But as a point of order, I don't think that the stewards are even important enough for her to know the name. So your guild of mages, they occasionally come here to delve into the ancient texts on magic and the like. I would not be surprised if someone there would, well, be able to at least point you in the right direction. I'm sorry, I was never much of a history student myself.
Not a problem. I really wasn't too much of one either.
What's this guy's name?
Who are we talking about? The one that you're conversing with, or the one that you're looking for?
The one we're conversing with.
This would be Sewer, and it's actually a she.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude. Got it.
So, yeah, she says, well, I'm sorry that I can't be of much help, but, well, please do keep us informed and come to us with any developments if there's anything that we can assist you with.
Oh.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And she, bows slightly and kind of heads back deeper into the chamber, kind of tending to the room. Okay. So you guys just beelining it for the center of town where the library was set up, or you have other stuff you want to do?
I think the library is a good choice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna head straight to the library.
We don't have any starfruit currently, correct?
Correct.
All right. I would like to keep an eye out for a starfruit stand whilst roaming the city.
Okay.
Not urgent, but
Okay.
a list of urgents. It's like sub-urgent.
Fair enough. Okay. So, yeah, you begin to walk toward the center of town. And, yeah, you end up kind of walking alongside a pretty wide canal sort of situation. And you see a number of small gondola-type watercraft making their way up and down the canal, carrying a number of passengers to and fro. Along the side of the canal, there are a few stands set up, each of them kind of wafting its own unique smell of largely foreign-smelling food to all of your noses. Till eventually you do see a fruit stand. This one, kind of small, very clearly designed to be quite mobile, like possibly even traveling from town to town, kind of situation. And standing behind it, almost so tall that the sign of the cart obscures his face. You see a hulking, scaled form that you gather is probably a dragonborn, and he's just. I think he's standing there, kind of like ducking his head under the sign, talking to one elven woman who's come up and is kind of looking at some of his fruit that he has on offer. And you see kind of this like weird look on the face of the elf as he's, I don't know, explaining something about one of the fruits that he has. She seems kind of confused and is like looking at it, and it's actually kind of familiar to let's see. It would at least be familiar to Maya and Bungdo as that weird, almost like furry kind of fruit that you guys saw when you were in Sigil.
Did we try it? I don't remember.
Yeah, like somebody did. I think it might have been Togar actually. So there's that.
So we don't know what it tastes like.
But we do know it's a fruit.
All right. Does he have starfruit?
It would seem that he does have a limited supply of starfruit. Yes.
Define limited.
Like you could pick up like probably 15 to 20.
Is that all he has?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay, so like right in the middle of this conversation, as he's trying to explain this strange fruit to the elven woman, Bungo just walks up and, I mean, how does this look? How's it go?
I just completely like blurted out like, I'd like to buy all of your starfruit.
Okay, so middle of conversation,
And I
he
say it in
kinda, like,
Gnomish.
pauses. You say it in Gnomish?
Mhm.
Okay. The guy looks down and he says, what?
I get a furrowed look on my brow, and I kind of like say something under my breath in Gnomish, and then I point to the starfruit, and then I do a hand gesture that makes it like a big box gesture, like a handful, and then I show money.
I roll my eyes and say he wants to buy all your starfruit.
Oh. Well, why doesn't he learn the language? Never mind. He starts like bagging them up for you, basically. And yeah, you guys get 20 starfruit, and it costs you, let's see, they're like 2 copper a piece, so 2 copper times 20. It's what, like 4 silver?
That's all?
Yeah.
Does he have any melons?
Yeah, he has a few melons.
Oh,
Probably
man.
like, some cantaloupes and watermelons and the like. Again, not a ton. Like it's not a huge establishment here, but
I'll just get 1 watermelon.
okay, cool. You do that.
Total
That's
cost
we'll say it's
is-
another. Call it like 3 copper.
Cool. So the total's. I'm just
4
gonna take
silver
off
and 3 copper.
Carper. Okay.
Carper.
I don't have any carper, but I do have copper. Will that work?
I
Well, it must be
suppose.
Carper.
Fuck. Will you take a plat?
Yeah. So you guys have a bunch of fruit.
The melon is mine.
We will not get scurvy. Yay.
Congratulations.
We're adulting properly. All right. Yep. I am good with that fruit. And I start going towards the library. Assuming I
All
know
right.
where it is.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been, kind of outlined more specifically than I went into by Sewer. But basically, if you head toward the center of the city, look for the big tree that seems to be growing out of a large stone pillar. It's one of the outlying buildings there. Easy enough to spot. So, another few minutes go by. You continue on, eventually crossing over the canal and kind of under a large white stone bridge that seems to be you look up at it, and from beneath especially, you can see a number of relatively visible cracks in it.
Is it like perfectly pearl white, or is it like off white?
It is like the whitest white. It gleams in the sun.
Okay.
The whitest of white.
Yeah. But yeah, passing underneath, you see like a number of cracks, kind of cutting through the supports and all of that sort of stuff. And yet, like, you look and you see like a cart kind of heading over onto the bridge, and as it reaches one of the cracked portions, it like gives a little bit, but then seems to just push right back up. And there's actually a faint glow as it seems to hit some sort of magical barrier that's reinforcing the bridge. But so you see that. You pass by a number of fountains and similar, like, just really ostentatious, look at us in our beautiful elven city type stuff. And eventually you make your way to the large library that has been described to you. And what can we say other than Sewer was, if anything, she didn't, her words did not do it justice. It's probably like a 4 or so story building. The side that faces you, bearing probably more glass than stone, just a single multi-level glass window that runs down almost the entire height of this building. Again, kind of gleaming in the sun, both the glass and the stone. There's a gold-framed, arched set of double doors that lead into the first floor. And as you approach, they seem to just spring to life and slowly open as you walk in.
Bungdo, as he's walking, he just kind of waggles his hands at it, pretending he's the one opening the door.
Okay. So you head in, and before you see kind of a large, again, immaculately clean white stone building that on the interior you can just see, if you look up, you can see the next 3 stories kind of framed by elegant stone like railings and such. It is quite quiet inside. A few hushed whispers here and there. The elves seem to take their library manners very seriously. And as you look around for maybe the next step, finding a reception desk or something along those lines, you are approached by an older elven male in like light blue robes. He seems to have almost silently come up beside you, and he says, "Greetings. Outlanders, is there something with which I could assist you?
I am just looking in amazement at everything.
Bondo passes gas and it comes out as a little squeak. I did roll for that, by the way. I rolled a 1 and I realized that I had to roll the d20, and then I rolled the d20 and got a 1. So, universe willed it.
There you go.
Um,
Okay.
I will say, we are looking for information about this, and I will hand him my piece of paper. And if memory serves serves me, Kios was the name of the High Cleric, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I will say we're looking for information on Kios. In particular, where the land of his ancestors are.
Is
Did you say something?
no, don't
Oh.
mind me.
No, don't. Okay. Yeah, so he looks at it and he says, you speak of Father Kios. He, as I recall, he spent his entire life within the confines of the city. That being the case, I can't say I'm intimately familiar with the lineage, but I wonder if perhaps this is meant in more of a broad sense. How much do you know about the history of our race, of the elves?
I can't say very much. I spend most of my time underground.
Oh, that's understandable, and well, to be honest, there are relatives of ours that do quite the same, though I must admit we don't get along most swimmingly.
Oh, you're talking about dark elves, aren't you?
Indeed. And it is, in part, the story that led to the fracturing of elvenkind that I think we may need to refer back to today.
I do know a little bit about the dark elves. I've not had encounters with them, but I've heard of people in Thogladar having encounters, or even some of the shadier folk doing deals with the dark elves. But it never turns out well.
Well, such is to be expected when an entire sub-race of people give such an amount of power to dark force, such as the Queen of Spiders.
Yes.
But what I suppose you may not know is that the very temptation that led to the Drow becoming what they are was present for all manner of elf. And it was our ability to resist the temptation of conquest and unending violence and cruelty that eventually led to the split. But the part of the story that we'll be addressing, I think, lies a bit before that. Closer to the time that the elves as a race were first conceived of. There are many varying accounts of how we came to be, but what they all share is that in some way or another we were, we were made by or in some cases, from the being of the deity Corellon. And as the first elves came to be, before the variation that you know today, they were simply elves. They were of a god. They were mutable in form, able to take on the shape of nearly anything that was beautiful or elegant in the world. But eventually they came to be tempted by the Queen of Spiders. She took advantage of the murmurings and rumblings of dissent and desire among some of our kind to no longer be of everything in the world, but to find and claim something of our own. She catered and pandered to the greed in some of us, and by and large, elven kind fell away from Corellon for a time. We began staking claims of a sort on various parts of the world. Some going underground and becoming drow, some taking to the seas, becoming sea elves, some taking to the woods. But eventually all but the drow came to their senses and tried to return to Corellon's side, learning after being exposed to the Queen of Spiders that her end goal was to overthrow him. We wouldn't have that. But it was too late. We were corrupted. Broken, in a sense. And so we were cast out from Corellon's realm into the rest of the world to find our place. And like it or not, we were forced to stake the claims that you see now. Some of us, most of us, when banished from his side, took to the Feywild. A strange land sort of like this one, but more steeped in magic and mystery. But as our ancestors who lived in the Feywild stayed there, they felt the influence of the place creeping into them, changing them even more to be different from the initial vision that Corellon had for us. And so most of us left the Feywild to come here, to the Prime Material Plane. The drow took to their caves, we took to our woods, and the rest of Elvenkind scattered to the wind. I wonder, perhaps, if the land of his ancestors that this place, or that this message speaks of, couldn't be, well, possibly the Feywild, possibly in the realm of Corellon.
So you're saying we have to make it to the Feywild, wherever this Feywild is.
At the very least. And mind you, this is only an educated guess. it's entirely possible that there's some other angle to this that I have no way of knowing. But it would seem the most logical. I can't say I've heard of any beings able to simply travel to the personal domain of a deity on a whim. So, the Feywild may be your best option.
Do you know the best way to get to the Feywild?
Spellcasters of a certain talent are capable of casting a spell known as Plane Shift. This is the easiest way if you can find such a spellcaster.
Out of character. Can druids plane shift?
Yes.
Very much so.
I don't know if a level 9 druid can plane shift. I'd have to look at that one, but
I think it's a 6
Probably
spell. It's like either 6 or 7.
let's have a look. Plane shift. It is 7th level.
Yeah. So we have to go find the
Easy peasy.
Now we have to go find the really, really strong druid to send us to the really, really strong cleric to revive.
I mean, there are other ways, which is what your friend here is about to tell you. But
Yeah.
that, I mean, I guess that's a thing you could do if you wanted to.
Just giant side quests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought you were only going to have to do one of these side quests? Joke's on you. You have to do all of them. No. Yeah, so he says that, and I don't know, probably looks at you hopefully, especially Bungdo, like, oh, you look like a spellcaster. Perhaps, he doesn't say it, but he gives you that look like, oh, maybe you could do it. Not seeing that look of recognition, though, I think, in his eyes. He continues on and says, there are certain places, especially here in Unareth, that resonate more strongly with things not of this plane. There's a massive amount of residual magical energy that still tethers a number of places in the woods to the Feywild and, well, a few other extraplanar locations. I suppose if this is the method that you must use, not having access to a plane shift spell, we could facilitate facilitate the acquisition of some information that might lead you to one of these places known as a Fey Crossing.
A Fey what?
Fey Crossing.
How do we get back once we get over there?
That is a good question, and the answer varies. I believe there are return crossings, but to my knowledge of the Feywild, they're not always the same place that you might emerge from the one that you took to get there.
At this moment, like, as he's there, as this is a male elf, right?
Mm-hmm.
As he's talking to me, I'm just gonna kind of like look past him, and I'm gonna cast Sending to Blackwell, who I briefly met,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, you're powerful in the arcane, aren't you? Do you have a way to get us to the Feywild? It's for Togar.
Hmm. Okay. Excuse Blackwell as he evaluates his skills.
You're good. I mean, he's
Blackwell's become like the Deus Ex Machina of the campaign.
he's the most powerful like spell user I know of.
I will tell you though, I'm proud to say that I've never had to do anything that like alter who he is or what skills he has as a character to make any of the shit that he's done happen.
Makes sense.
Let's see. So, I think the message you get back is, he says, I do have the means to travel between planes, but only between certain points. If you could learn of such a point in the plane that you, and I mean, maybe the message cuts off, but either way, he can message you back. It basically says if you can figure out the coordinates for a teleportation circle in the Feywild, he can get you there.
Okay, so he can use teleportation circles. Is basically what he's telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So after like about 30 or 40 seconds of me kind of staring off into space, I'll go, well, how about this? Do you guys know of any teleportation circles in the Feywild? Because I think I secured us a way there and possibly back.
Well, he says, I certainly don't know any off the top of my head, but we do have experts on these sorts of things, and knowing the scope of the information you need, it shouldn't be too much of an issue to do a bit of a delve into some Feywild lore and history. Let's see what we can turn up.
Okay.
Is that something you'd like me to have arranged for you?
I'll look at the rest of the group. I mean, this is probably going to be our best shot. I talked to Blackwell, and he can get us there if we can get him a circle.
I mean, that sounds good. We have a way back.
Well, I could just message him and have him come back.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying.
and hopefully with Togar in tow.
To clarify, do you have sending on
Yeah.
Tormilla?
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because you said message, but...
Oh, oops, I meant sending. I did link
Okay.
sending, too.
Okay.
So, my bad.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, I just wasn't looking at chat, so
Oh,
just want to make sure.
I do not have message. I have sending.
Okay, it's all good.
So,
Cool. So, yeah. Your new librarian friend gets to getting all of that set up and says that to feel reasonably comfortable in whatever results that they can pull out, they'll probably need a day.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And so, assuming you're good with all that, he probably takes down your contact info and basically learns where you're staying so that they can send for you if need be.
I do actually want to stay if they will allow it and do some studying on the deities of the Feywild.
Okay.
So
I
I
would
just
like
want,
to,
yeah.
and I'd like to do studies on creatures of the Feywild.
Okay. All right. Cool. Anything Bungdo wants to do?
If any books are there on enchanting, I'll check it out, but that's about it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm sure you could find some stuff on enchanting.
Not about cooking your peppers.
Oh, no, I have experience with that.
Okay. So since the three of you are going to be researching some stuff, go ahead and each of you give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence.
11.
Killing it.
Shit.
All right. So
I rolled the highest.
there you go. So I think for Maya, let's see. I mean, you look into some fey creatures, and I mean, there are all kinds of strange varieties of creatures that some of them seem to have origins in things that you know. Like you kind of confirm in your research that, in fact, that Yeth Hound that you guys fought in the woods on the way here, that is technically a fey creature.
Hmm.
Too bad it failed to kill us.
There are others that seem to be almost like humanoid mushroom type creatures. But for each of the creatures that seem to be based in mundane things or prime material things, there are other stranger things. Hags, for example, are fey creatures, as well as a number of the fairy dryad type beings in the world. I think that's really about all you get into. Like, it's kind of more of a broad rundown of, some general fey stuff.
I spend a lot of time trying to picture things that aren't.
Yeah. Yeah, these aren't exactly picture books that you're looking at, so. Okay. Cool. So then, we get down to Tormilla trying to research deities of the Feywild. You have a hard time actually finding anything connecting a deity to the Feywild. From everything that you've seen, it seems like the Feywild itself is kind of a realm of magic run wild. The plane itself seems to just exude its own unique brand of magic that the longer someone stays there, the more prone to its influences they become.
I guess in that case, then I would route my research into, like, basically how the hells have, like, layers and, like, hierarchies. Something like I want to look for the hierarchy of the Feywild.
Okay. Again, it's kind of you're asking a question that there isn't really much of an answer to. There isn't much of a hierarchy. It just kind of is.
Anything powerful? Anything to worry about, too?
I mean, I think in terms of anything powerful, that would kind of fall into the search that Becca made.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Yeah, you rolled a 4. Like I.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm cool. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Um, and then let's see. Bungdo is looking into enchanting stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think Bungdo is able to, find some material to maybe, you're probably doing that thing where like you are reading a portion of a textbook that you have no fucking idea how to understand yet, but maybe you take some notes on it so that eventually you're able to kind of come back and be like, oh yeah, I know what these words mean now.
Fair enough.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, I imagine you spend probably most of the rest of the day, kind of looking for info. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to do before the usual, dinner, rest, wake up, breakfast, repeat kind of thing?
Um. Just. I mean, I'm assuming I don't have any extra time, so. I just want to meditate a little bit before I go to sleep.
Okay. So, yeah, if that's it for everybody, we can kind of fast forward to the next day, and we'll say like after breakfast time, and around then, you receive a message from a courier and sent over to the inn on behalf of the library, informing you that your request has been fulfilled. So I assume that you guys head straight over, unless there's something else you want to do, in which case feel free to stop me.
No, I'm good to head over.
Okay. So, yeah, you head back over, and waiting for you in the entryway of the Grand Library of Balinor is the same elven man that you had spoken with yesterday, who probably would have introduced himself at some point by the name Sarnan, which I will put in chat.
Cool.
And actually, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to label him, so that way when I'm going back through and writing all my shit down, and you're going back through and writing any of your shit down, you know who he is. um, yeah, so you arrive, and he, of course, welcomes you and all the cordial niceties kind of stuff. And then he says, I may have found some potential coordinates that you could use to make your way into the Feywild and rescue or return, or not entirely sure of the terminology to use based on that message, to find Father Kios. However, and then he like pauses as though he's trying to put it into words, and then he actually just reaches over and grabs a book, kind of opening to a marked portion of it, and he shows you the text that he found this information in. And the first thing you notice is the pages are kind of worn. So he says, I'm fairly confident that the coordinates I've transcribed are accurate, but as you can see, and he gestures to, this pretty badly aged paper, there are for lack of a better term, some blanks that had to be filled in. I could not, in good conscience,
Hello?
let you attempt to use these coordinates without informing you of the potential risks. Which, well, I imagine that you could infer, but if not, there's a very real possibility that this could take you somewhere entirely different.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, my Discord does a thing sometimes where it just like stops giving me any audio from people talking, and I can't hear them.
Oh, that's cool.
So I had to restart.
All right. But yeah, so basically the coordinates they're worn down in the book that he got them from. And he had to do some filling in of blanks. And while he's pretty confident, there's still the possibility that this circle could lead you somewhere that you don't want to be.
Okay. And then my next question is there a teleportation circle anywhere in the city?
He says, yes, there are a number of them. Only one that I believe is cleared for public use. Won't have to go too far to find that. It's just across the courtyard in the Mage Hall. You should obviously introduce yourself before you just stroll in and begin casting spells, but I see no reason why they would turn you away.
Okay.
He says, is there anything else I can help you with?
I don't think so.
Well, then do be safe if you do choose to use those coordinates. And, well, I wish you the best. It seems you are working toward a noble cause. And well, it would be a shame if anything were to happen. So, come back safely, yes?
That's the plan.
Yes.
Alright. So, gonna go and try to do stuff? I mean, I know you still gotta set up a meeting with Blackwell and all, but...
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over to the teleportation circle area.
Mm-hmm.
And is it, like, just an open area, or is it a closed door?
So it's basically as you walk into the Mage's Hall. This is again, kind of large, ostentatious, showy building, with a number of branching corridors leading out from this main chamber that you enter into. There's also kind of a shorter alcove kind of situation off to your left as you walk in. Kind of basically a short hallway that ends in kind of a circular area, and you can see there, kind of inscribed on a raised platform, something that I think you would recognize as a teleportation circle.
Alright. How do you get... are there coordinates somewhere on it, or... is there a way I can tell what it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody who is not trained in the spell would probably have to make an Arcana check to interpret it,
Well, is there anybody around?
Yeah. I mean, there are a number of people kind of milling about, reading and writing in spell books and all of that sort of thing.
I guess I'll go up and just kind of start looking at the teleportation circle, and yeah, I guess I'll do my Arcana check to see.
Okay.
Ho ho ho!
All right. Well, there you go. So yeah, I mean, you look at it, and you've probably spent enough time, either on your own or with your father, around teleportation circles, and maybe you've even been asked to, help transcribe um, the coordinates off of one before, and so you kind of know what to look for,
Yeah.
and as such, you are able to copy down the coordinates exactly as you need to.
All right. Um, is that something I could relay in a sending to, like, Blackwell?
We'll say sure.
Okay. So I will cast sending, and I'm gonna say, Blackwell, here are coordinates for you to get directly to us. We are, where the hell are we? I can't remember what the woods is called.
The woods are Unareth. The city
Okay.
itself is Balinor.
All right, we're in the heart of Unareth, in the city of Balinor. We have a teleportation circle here, and I have coordinates, and then I guess that's probably it for the message.
All right. He says, I will be there by the end of the day. He is a grown-ass man with grown-ass man problems, so,
Right.
Like traveling halfway across the continent.
No, I wasn't expecting him to drop everything. I was just telling him, here's coordinates. You know, hopefully I didn't mean for it to go across that way. So.
Okay. But yeah, so I mean, it's easy enough for you guys to like establish communication or whatever.
Okay.
So, when he gets there, when he gets around to it, I'm sure he will let you know, and you guys can kind of set it up as needed. Anything you guys want to do in the meantime while you have a little bit of downtime here?
Yes.
Bungo's actually good.
I'm gonna cast Legend Lore a second time
Oh, okay.
on the Feywild.
Okay.
I am going to spend how many hours I can working on creating a health potion.
Right.
And more specifically, I would like to do Legend Lore on the elves of the Feywild, if I could.
Okay.
Just to know a little bit more about that.
Let's see here. So, yeah, I mean, if you're specifically focusing on the elves of the Feywild, let me take a look at the spell again just to verify. Okay. So when you say, when you specify that you are seeking information about the elves of the Feywild, I think almost in a Google, what are the elves of the Feywild kind of situation. You immediately you receive a message that starts, the Eladrin are the race of elves that, upon being banished from the presence of Coralon, moved into and subsequently stayed in the Feywild. The magic of the Feywild took its toll on them, and so they became creatures that are both elven and fey in nature. Sorry, it's not as beautiful and elegant as my last legend lore, but I didn't get to actually author it this time.
You're good. The other thing that I was hoping to glean out of it was a possible location that we could shoot for.
I don't think you get that.
Nothing? Okay.
No.
Alright. So I will share the information and say, I can do that once a day, but it does cost, and it is fairly taxing on me, but if there's any information we would like to learn about anything or anyone, I'm sure I can use that, use that spell again. But this is what I've gleaned.
Thank you.
Yep. So, and I've also been in contact with Blackwell, and he will be here by the end of the day.
Okay. I will just be working on my health potion.
Okay. And, yeah. Anything exciting from Bungdo, or just kind of hanging out?
Just kind of hanging out for now. I got my enchanting book done. Nothing much to do today.
Cool.
Just ready to go see my best friend.
All right.
How many hours do I get in?
Let's see. I mean, so you got the message that it was done, and then you got the explanation. That's pretty early in the day. So, yeah, I mean, I'd say you could probably get a full day in. You know, so like 8 hours.
Still nowhere near finished, but
About halfway through the day, I will approach Maya. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I'll say, "Hey, Maya, being that we're going into the Feywild, you think it might be advisable for us to try to pick up an extra person or two?" 'Cause
I don't know. Probably. There's more numbers is more intimidating, usually.
well, and especially I would prefer to try to find somebody who's some form of a spellcaster if we could. Because I'm not the greatest with magic. I can get by, but having somebody that understands magic might be nice in a place where magic is running wild.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
So, how good are you at talking to people?
I am capable of talking to people, but I mean, not great at it.
Shoot. Are we gonna have to rely on Bungdo for this?
About average.
God.
You know what, let's leave Bungdo out of this one for now. I guess I can give it a shot. but I figured I'd run it by you first.
How good are you at talking to people?
I'll just say this: I'm not terrible. I just wasn't sure how good you were.
Yeah, I'd say I'm about average.
Okay. Well, we've never really talked, so I wasn't sure how comfortable you were talking to people. But-
Well, talking to your dad is a bit overwhelming.
Oh. Yeah, don't worry about him. You're looking at the one who really runs the show. I'll toss Maya a wink, and I'll say, I'll be back, and I'll walk out.
Bungo just sighs.
I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to the library and just basically, like, is there a general reception?
Yeah.
I'll go to the general reception and say, I'm looking for I have a potential opening for a study to go on in the Feywild, and I'm looking for anybody who might be looking to study something in the Feywild and want to experience it firsthand. Yeah, any idea where I would inquire about that?
Okay. So,
Basically, I'm kind of trying to attempt to act like I'm coming as trying to get an intern or somebody.
yeah, no. This is totally an opportunity for you and not taking advantage of you in the Uh-huh.
Exactly.
We need expendable cast.
But the weird thing is Tormilla's actually genuine about it. It's not underhanded at all. I'm willing to take what I can get.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the person at the desk is like, all right. Well, give me one moment. Let me confer with someone who might be able to put you in touch. And as we've seen a number of times in the campaign now, you see them like scribble out a note and kind of roll it up and utter something, and it just poof, vanishes.
Where did you guys get that paper?
It's really expensive. We've asked before.
I know.
But,
Unfortunately, it's Tormilla asking.
I mean, I'm not there, so.
Right.
Yeah. She says, well, we have a number of enchanters on staff, and that's a large portion of what they do in service to the library and the greater associated mages of Bellinor. We tend to pool our resources in some cases, working together for the greatest efficiency and accomplishment. And a few more minutes go by, and you see like another little puff of smoke, and another rolled up message kind of appears on the desk. And make an insight check.
All right. I got a pretty good insight right there.
Yeah. Okay. 20. Okay. So yeah, she like unscrolls the message, or unfurls the message and looks at it, and there's kind of a like puzzled face, like, oh, really, that one? And
Oh no.
We get a second
And-
Bungdo.
Yes.
Nope. Gonna be a forest gnome. I'm sorry. A rock gnome came by and killed your guy.
Bodo
that'd be
just
great.
rolls up his sleeves.
But yeah, so kind of quirk of the eyebrow, like, huh, interesting choice. And looks up at you and says, yeah, so they'll be down momentarily. I think we've got somebody who'll be perfect fit.
Perfect. And I guess I'll go take a seat.
Okay. So, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes go by, and
What?
fucking Tortlecaster? That'd be great. But eventually, kind of walking at a brisk pace, you see a robed figure walk in, clad in kind of a bright blue hooded robe. Kind of like backpack halfway slung over the shoulder. Just kind of looking like, oh, I don't know, maybe they just threw themselves together after whatever it is they might have been doing 20 minutes ago. And you see they come to a stop and kind of, looking around. And noticing you, probably like looking back, this person walks over and says, "Are you going to the Feywild?"
Yes, we actually are. Oh, well, I am, and my friends over, and I'll just kind of gesture out the door, down the road a little bit. We're venturing to the Feywild in search of Kios. Not sure if you know who that is, but he is.
Like I didn't really sign up for a history test. No, am I supposed to know who that is?
No, but what are you looking to gain from going to the Feywild?
Well, I don't know. I guess the ability to come in here and maybe not be made fun of every day. Looks around and kind of like casts a biting glare at the lady at the desk that helped you.
Well, I guess maybe we should start over. Hi, I'm Tormilla Snowhand, and I'll extend a hand.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name's Seema, and you see, like, as she kind of like looks and makes eye contact and stuff, she looks like a female half elf with kind of like medium length black hair, kind of pale skin, and yeah, she reaches out and shakes your hand, and I think you feel as she shakes your hand, there's just like this little tiny pinch, like where her thumb meets the rest of her hand as she shakes yours, and yeah, she probably sees like a small reaction to that, and she's like, "Oh, sorry." She kind of quickly tucks the hand back into her robes.
What was that?
Shocking.
She says, it's nothing to worry about." And then she like takes the hand back out and kind of pulls up her sleeve, and you see like one side of her hand kind of going up into the arm. There are scales.
Huh. I'm gonna now. She's actually genuinely piqued my interest. So I'm just gonna just kind of look at it, and I'm gonna say, "You mind if I take a look at this? Do you know what this is?"
Well, it's a long story, and it's basically what makes it so that I can still be made fun of in the biggest house full of nerds in this entire city.
These guys are a bunch of nerds, aren't they?
Right?
Well, let's go. I'll introduce you to Maya and Bungdo, and I have a feeling you might find Bungdo at least half a bit amusing.
All right. And yeah, so the two of you head out.
And I guess I will lead her back to. We're staying at the Morning Glory Inn, right?
Mhm.
So I will lead her back there. And as soon as I walk in, I'm gonna just straight to Maya, ignoring Bungdo off in his little area. What?
You'll have to get my attention. I'm concentrating hard.
Well, that's fine. I'm gonna walk up to hey Maya.
I look up and I'll see this chica. This-
Yeah, and so I'll say, meet, and I couldn't catch her name because you kind of faded out. Was it Seema?
Cima. Cima.
Cima. Okay, I'll say, this is Seema. She is going to accompany us to the Feywild.
She just kind of like waves.
I wave back. I stand up and wave back.
I'll say,
Okay.
So, and I'll say, Seema, this is Maya. She's a monk. I can't really tell you too much more about her monk order or anything, but I'm sure she would love to. And while she is, I will go grab Bungdo. So,
Okay. Awkward introduction as Tormilla just ducks out.
well, no, I mean, I'm just gonna kind of let you know.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I look awkward after that. Just be like, hey, why do you want to go to the Feywild?
She says, well, it's not my first choice exactly, but, well, it'll let me kind of do what I want to do and I guess just exist in the mage hall without being made fun of by all the wizards. Bunch of nerds.
Okay. Yeah, just. Well, I haven't been there, but be careful. I think.
Be careful, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think, I'm assuming the Feywild can be dangerous. I don't know. I'm not a magic person, so.
Yeah, she says, well, I mean, I'm not a studying magic person. I'm a using magic person, though. She kind of swoops her hand up in the air, and you watch a kind of silvery hand materialize off of it, and just kind of hold itself up in front of her and wave at you again.
That's cool. Is there, like, particular magic you use?
She kind of thinks on it and says, I guess most of my stuff would be, you know what conjuration is?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like, there's nothing and then there's something. That's what I do.
Oh, okay. Like with the hand.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that should come in handy.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I hope I can be of help, and I hope we don't all get killed. I'm not a healer, So don't expect any of that. It looks like your friend there is a cleric, though, so maybe we'll be okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, we should be fine. And Bungdo can heal too.
All right.
About all I do.
Okay. So Tormil is going to get Bungo and
Well, I actually want to approach Bungdo.
okay.
So, wherever, but what is Bungdo doing right now?
Not really anything. Just kind of with you guys.
Oh, you were sitting right there?
not right next to you. Just like in the general area,
Okay, well,
doing nothing.
I'll go and sit down next to Bungdo and say, Bungdo,
Yes.
I got us another person to join us in the Feywild.
Ooh, fresh meat. Goody.
Bungdo, please, please try not to scare this one off.
Very well.
Or light her on fire.
No promises.
In fact, would you like to meet her? I think you might find her quite to your liking.
Bungo's eyes just kind of light up.
Oh,
Indeed.
don't
So-
say it that way.
No. No, like, I'm not trying. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I didn't think of it that way until you said it. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Just that I did, so
Yeah, she kind of. So, anyway, so I'll say, all right, well, follow me, and I'll lead him over, and I'll say, I'll kind of walk up and say, Seema, this is Bungdo.
and she probably still has her mage hand up, so she like just waves with this little silver floating hand in front of her.
I'll look at Bungdo. Bungdo, this is Seema.
I just kind of reach out and shake her hand. Hello, Bungdo. Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. So, what do you do around here?
Well, I kill things. I heal things. And I set things on fire.
Hmm.
Also, I eat and do science and other things. It really depends on what I'm feeling that day.
he also cooks some really mean fish.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Oop, you
Uh,
lagged.
you're doing so well.
You're really far behind.
Yeah, now it's real laggy.
Ah.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, that one worked.
Okay. I mean, Becca can really tell because she's in the same room as me.
Yeah.
You're fixed now.
Yeah. Okay. Hope it doesn't happen again, I guess. But yeah. So she says, "Well, I'm some
Oh, it cut out again.
as well. We were doing so well.
Yes.
Like, yes, we made.
What?
Let's wait 20.
Yeah, you're it's bad.
And it's just him.
Ah.
I told you
Try restarting Discord.
it's his personal.
Well, now you're doing it.
I'm not talking.
Time to yell at Slenderman again.
Right.
There, it cut off.
Yep.
As in coming back on, right?
Nope, rage
Leaving.
quit. Threw his computer through the window.
You did.
I was trying to come through yours.
Well,
I haven't looked. at mine. I'm fine. I peaked, but now I'm fine.
Yeah. So we really.
You're so bad.
I know.
Okay.
I'd respond, but I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I will think about how to do that. Downstairs.
Easy there, Phil. All right.
Oh, why would you hear me? That's
Maybe you should just.
You're
Thing.
both cutting out real bad. I think it's your internet again.
Fine, you can do yours in my computer, but now I have a problem. So you can't do that anymore.
Rip.